This is the KRMG Afternoon News with Skylar Cooper.
5:06 here, the KRMG Afternoon News, and it's Tuesday. That means it's time for our weekly check-in with the city manager of Broken Arrow, USA. That's Michael Spurgeon. He joins us live. Michael, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my friend. Hope you're having a great Tuesday and staying cool because it's hot out there.
I haven't stepped outside since 9 o'clock this morning, so yes, I'm intentionally avoiding it. Good to talk with you, Ben. Again, it's been a couple of weeks. I was on off one day, mornings last week, so good to be back with you. Something broke last week. I thought, I've got to ask Michael about this, and that was news from the Oklahoma Department of Transportation that the BA Expressway is now part of their 8-year plan, and specifically parts of it that are in Broken Arrow. So I wanted to bring that up with you and see what your thoughts are on that, what you know about it that we may not know. I'm curious if you have input on what they may end up doing out there.
Well, I wish I could talk about this every single day of the week, and if I get that opportunity, I will, because we couldn't be more excited about the fact that the Department of Transportation is going to be studying and working on a plan to actually improve that intersection as well as Highway 51 to accommodate all the traffic that is basically traveling back and forth on the highway as well as the community. And so right now we have a consultant that's actually working on that design that eventually will be presented to the council and the Department of Transportation for approval, and then will be placed on the plan, we understand, and that at some point the funding will be generated to be able to complete those improvements. And we do know this, which is such great news, is for those folks that travel Highway 51, is the Department of Transportation is probably talking about adding from 6 lanes to 10 lanes, 2 on each side, to help with the interchange getting on and off there. And secondly is that we'd be looking at, if you're traveling south on Lynn Lane, you'd be able to go right to get on the Highway 51 to be able to turn to head west. And so this is a major project, could be anywhere from $40 to $60 million, which is extremely difficult for any community to be able to accumulate those type of funds. So we couldn't be happier to be a part of this plan.
That's really cool. I'm really happy to hear you say that that new ramp that would take you westbound, because before I got used to BA, I would make that mistake often and try to get on the BA and find myself turned around. So that's a great one. I also wanted to ask you if there is any discussion so far of off-ramps, and I'm specifically thinking about the eastbound off-ramp to Elm and the eastbound off-ramp to Lynn Lane. They are set up similar, except the turn lanes differ. There's 2 that turn right on Elm, and there's 2 that turn left on Lynn Lane. And even still, I get mixed up on, okay, where am I exiting and which way do I have to turn? Is that consistently is it going to stay that way, or do you think there's any change with that?
Well, as a part of the 8-year plan that we're working on, we also did receive a federal grant in the amount of $5.84 million through the RAISE grant program, which actually we're going to be looking at that entire corridor in the area that you mentioned, Skylar, which is Elm Place to Kenosha, to take a look at the functionality, that's my word, of how those interchanges works. And there could be changes as a result of looking at this, completing this grant project that we're going to be doing. And so, yeah, I think that's certainly something that's up for consideration. I do want to mention that if you're traveling north on Lynn Lane, you'll still be able to get on by turning right to go west. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity to look at this entire corridor to help address the amount of traffic that's either going through our community or getting off at one of our interchanges to basically to do business or to go home or to work.
So a ways down the road, but the conversations are happening, so folks in BA can keep that in mind. Now at 5:10, talking with Broken Arrow City Manager Michael Spurgeon. I wanted to ask you about a cool plan I just saw. I was looking at the schematics earlier, or the renderings of a rose garden there at Central Park. And this is an area I'm pretty familiar with. I walk the dog through that grass a lot these days. But I guess, tell me all about it. I don't know much other than there would be a whole beautiful new garden built kind of at the back, the far western side of Central Park.
Well, I'd love to talk about this, Skylar. Back in 2018, Broken Arrow voters approved $500,000 for a rose gardening initiative in that area. And we've taken our time trying to determine how best to use those funds. And last night, the city council approved a master plan and gave authorization to begin the design of phase one of this, what we're going to call a community garden, which will be on the west side of the Central Park, back in the area where there used to be some softball fields that we eventually moved to Arrowhead. But this is really, when you think about recreation, it's not always just about active recreation, passive recreation, be able to reflect and have some nice walking paths to be able to sit and enjoy and just think and really just enjoy the quiet and peace of quiet in nature is really our goal. And our organization called Keep Broken Arrow Beautiful has been the main driver behind this initiative. So this first phase is going to have walking trails. It's going to have a separate garden, seating, an entry plaza, and also some signage. And then we're going to design the master plan so when we have the additional funding, we're able to complete this project. So I'm hoping we get started in 2024.
Michael, thank you so much. We're going to have to run early. We've got breaking news, and we have a news conference to hit here in about a minute. So we'll talk next week.
Take care, my friend. Have a good week.